Hi guys, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm here with the final part of my review for 90 Day Fiance. This is season 7, episode 9, I Don't Have a Choice. And in this episode I'm going to be covering Anny and Robert and Mike and Natalie. So just before we start guys, again thank you very much to all of those of you who have subscribed. I'm very touched by the amount of support that I'm getting and I love interacting with all you guys in my comments. Please don't forget to like my video and follow me on Twitter at mbird99. And first up today we're going to talk about Robert and Anny. So we catch up with Robert and he's picking up his baby sister Robin. She's coming in at the airport and as he's driving over there, he lets us know he's still upset with Anny over her asking him for a threesome. He said he's not into it and he's not interested. And when he arrives and sees his sister, he gives her a massive big hug and he says his baby sister gets on his nerves, but he loves her all the same. He tells her she's never met Anny, but he hopes they'll get on. His sister's very outgoing, she's a lot of fun, she's full of energy, she's super cool and she's super dope. High praise indeed, Robert, high praise indeed. And as they're driving back, Robert tells Robin that he questions his relationship sometimes with Anny, and Robin tells us that he's always picked the wrong women. She says he's had his heart broken many times, but she tells Robert you all are still learning each other and it's not going to be peaches and cream straight away. She's certainly right about that. And when they arrive home, Robin gives Anny a massive big hug and she also gives Bryson a hug as well. And she asks Bryson, have you been a good boy? And he tells her that he has, but only today. And it's unbelievable, but 5-year-old Bryson is more self-aware than Robert. And Anny noticed immediately that Bryson is in love with Anny. And she tells us if Robert and Anny don't work out, Bryson's going to be devastated. And we do see Bryson climbing all over Anny, and you can see they're very tactile with each other. And it's very nice to see. As you guys know, I'm not a massive fan of Robert, but I would like these two to work, I think, just for the sake of Bryson. And Anny sits down and has a chat with Robin. When I came over here, Robert told me he'd give me money and he'd look after me, but he hasn't given me anything. And she said, how have you been living? And she said, well, I've been doing people's hair and doing lashes and getting a bit of money on the side. And this is something I didn't know about Anny. And I guess TLC aren't really massively promoting that because I think she's probably not supposed to be working at all. But what I really love to hear about this is it shows that Anny is somewhat of a grafter, and Anny knows that she likes nice clothes and nice makeup and things, and she's prepared to do what she has to do to go and get it. She's got a little business shizzle going on. And then Anny told his sister, she says, I didn't bring many clothes with me because Robert told me he was going to buy me all new ones. And then he took me to a used clothes store. He also took me to see a lovely 2-bedroom apartment, and then he said he couldn't afford it. He says he's going to do a lot of stuff, but he doesn't do it. And it seems Robin had heard enough. Robin cut Anny off mid-sentence and said, Anny, you do know that Robert's poor, don't you? And in the background Robin's saying, who poor? I ain't poor. Robert, yes you are. And Anny said, he say he rich, he gonna take care of me, and he didn't. Oh Anny, Robert never said he was rich. Robert probably said a few things like, I'll take care of you. He meant he'll house you and feed you. Robert's lots of things, but rich isn't one of them. I don't think I'd describe him as poor, but I don't know that you can ever really have a lot of money if you've got all these kids to pay for, because as soon as you earn it, it's going to be out of your pocket. So I have a feeling that they're always going to struggle. And Robin says Robert has to earn the money first before you can spend it. But Robin, I think there are a few court orders out there for child maintenance which dictate the money's never going to find its way to Anny. It's always going to circumvent itself around all his children first. It's about time that Anny reevaluated this whole situation and realised, okay, I've been finessed. Okay, I've been lied to. Okay, I've been hoodwinked. But I am, however, in America. I'm not planning on going home, which I could easily do. So make the best of the situation. You're in a country where you can earn lots of money, and I do think Anny's got enough hustle that she'll end up making money for herself. I think she's going to be very much, I see it, I want it, I got it. And then Robin says, Robert doesn't have any money. He's not a rapper, he's not an actor, and he's not a drug dealer. Oh Robin, I was beginning to like you. You forgot. He's not a successful entrepreneur. He's not the head of the UN. He's not the President of the United States. And I have a feeling that low expectation runs in their family. But what's this? Oh, Annie's going on and on about sex. He has to give me more sex, more every day. I want 1 times, 2 times, 3 times. And Robert tells her, I get up at 5 a.m. and your ass is at home sleeping all day. Robert, what's your tone? And I'm working all day. Well, this is very interesting. Maybe Bryson gets himself up in the morning, washes himself, dresses himself, feeds himself, takes himself to school, brings himself back home, cooks his dinner, washes himself and puts himself to bed. And thank God for those housework fairies. They do all the washing, the hoovering, the cleaning, the tidying. Yep, you're right, Annie does just nothing. Robert, you and I both know very well the reason that Annie is here is so that Annie can do all of those jobs for you so that you can concentrate on working longer hours and making more money. So let's not pretend that being a homemaker is nothing now. Please, let's not. But nevertheless, Annie still wants sex 3 to 4 times a day. Robert says I'm not a machine. Maybe you should think about investing in one. Just saying. But Sister Robin seems to be on Annie's side. She says, come on Robert, you've got to step up. And Robert tells us Friday through Sunday he's good for sex, but forget about it for the rest of the week. And guys, I don't know what you think, but I foresee problems on the horizon. Annie has obviously got a very high sex drive. And then Robin asks, Annie, if you don't get what you want from Robert, will you still go ahead with the relationship? Will you still get married? And Annie seems to confirm that she will. But you can tell Robin's still worried about the relationship. And next time we see Annie and Robin, they're out shopping for wedding dresses. Annie told us that she's really pleased that Robin's coming with her because, as we know, her mother has died and she has no family over in the US and she doesn't want to go looking all on her own. Robin says that she'll always be there for Annie, and actually I am really taking to Robin. She seems like a really nice and positive person, and she does seem as if she wants the best for her brother and Annie as well. Yeah, hats off to Robin for that. Annie tells us she wants something sexy and elegant, something I like, and so she picks up a wedding dress that's $1,500. She says, oh my god, what a price. And Robin said, do we have a budget? I don't want you to pick up a dress that you then can't have. And Annie said, well, Robert told me $400. $400? She needs to go and talk to Jasmine. Maybe she'll be able to borrow her white tracksuit after she's finished with Blake. And even Robin looked extremely surprised that it was so low. But the shop assistant was more than helpful, and she found dresses that were within the price range. And so Annie put on the first dress, which I really liked actually, but it was a little bit big around the middle. And then Annie put on the second dress, and she looked like fire. She looks $1,000,000 pesos, about $200. No, I'm just being a biatch. She really did look good. It was difficult for me to believe that that dress was within the budget, but if it was, props to the shop assistant, because a $400 dress looked about $2.5 grand to me. She really did look good. It fit her really well. And it was kind of like a mermaid dress. She looked really good. She started crying and she said she wished her mum or sisters were there to see her. And Robin came up trumps again because she wiped her tears and she said, you know what, your mum's looking down on you right now. She's here with us. And even snarky little Ebird had a tear in her eye. So guys, let me know what you think. Do we think that they can work? Do we think that Robert and Annie will go the distance? And also, do we think it's time now for Annie to realise Robert's poor? Robert doesn't have any money. Accept that situation and make the best of it. She's already started to going out doing eyelashes for clients and doing their hair, so she's already started on the grind. But I kind of think that Annie should settle down now, wake up, smell the coffee and realise no money is coming from Robert. So let me know what you think in comments down below. Should she just be grateful to be in America and make the best of her situation? And what do we think of Robin? I think she's my favourite person on this season. Comments down below. And next up we have Mike and Natalie. So I have just one message for Mike. Mike, get out while you can. Not just for your sake, but for the sake of Beau as well. So when we first catch up with Mike tells us it's been really frustrating recently, and he says our differences have really come out. Communication is important, but we're not getting any further forward with this visa situation. It's very stressful and we've got no visa. Without the visa there's no kid, there's no America, there's no nothing. Step number 1 is getting this visa. And with that in mind, he goes to the embassy in Kiev. And yes guys, I say Kiev because I'm British and that's the way we say it. Every week somebody says it's pronounced Kiev, maybe if you're American, but not if you're from England. And he asks the officials at the embassy to check up on the status of the visa. However, they tell him he's not allowed to find out any information as it's classified. And on the website it still says pending. Mike tells us that he filled his paperwork in properly and that he was very confident, and he has suspicions as to why this hasn't gone through. And so he meets up with Natalie and they go for a coffee. He tells us he can't wait much longer. He thinks that something that happened in Natalie's past is the problem. And as they sit down to coffee, Natalie asks, what's wrong? And Mike says he's frustrated and he can't get any answers. And he asks her, is there anything you're not telling me? And honestly, if looks could kill, and the way Natalie looks at Mike, you would think they'd both just died and were on the way to heaven, only to find the pearly gates, the gates of a spaceship. Oh no, Mike was right all along. It's the aliens. And he asks her straight up, have you applied for a K1 visa with anyone else? I need to know. Have you ever been to America? And Natalie says, it makes me upset. How can you not trust me. I'm clean and everything. This makes me so upset. What is my fault? And she storms out. And guys, I smell a rat here. I think Mike's actually onto something, because when Micheal asked Juliana the very same question, is there something maybe in your past that you haven't told me about or you haven't divulged? Juliana just answered, no, there isn't. But Natalie seems really upset, and it's surprising. He's not saying, did you used to be a prostitute? He's simply saying, have you applied previously? Have you tried to get into America previously? Is there something you're not telling me? All she needs to do is answer the question, yes or no. And when she finally sidles back, Mike says he didn't intend to put the blame on her, and he apologises, but she's still sulking like a child. And Natalie tells producers, Mike tells me I'm lying. How can I live in another country with a man who doesn't trust me? Natalie, he didn't say you were lying. He said, is there anything you haven't told me? And he just required a yes or no. And she said, I can't be with someone that doesn't trust me. I want to go home. And they leave the coffee shop. So guys, I've been trying to work out what it is with Natalie, and I can't quite get it, but one of my subs last week, and I can't quite remember who it is, but I'm going to try and look for it, but one of my subs actually said she just wants a baby, and she wants to have an American father because she knows that there'll be steady money coming in. She's not bothered if she manages to get to America or not. And actually I sat and thought about this and thought, I think you've hit the nail on the head, because when Mike was back in the US, Natalie said, I've been declined for my visa. I want you to come over. It's pretty obvious that the visa officials aren't going to tell Mike anything that Natalie couldn't find out herself. So what was the rush for Mike to come over? I think it was because she wanted to get pregnant. Also, when Mike was in the US and they were talking on the phone, Natalie actually said, I'm going to tell my mother something to make her very happy. I'm going to tell her she's going to be a grandmother. But why would that make your mum happy? Mum, you're going to have a grandchild, but it's highly likely that you'll see Halley's Comet more often than you see that grandchild, because that grandchild is going to be in America. Uncle Beau will be more of a grandparent than you will, Mum. Are you happy? Thought not. That wouldn't make most mothers happy. And so it's my contention that Natalie planned to have a baby and either stay in Kiev or go back to Kiev with her mum, and then Mike would have to visit and be a part-time dad. But she knows Mike's a good enough guy that he would send money for the baby, which would trump any money that a Ukrainian could probably give to her. And that was Natalie's plan. So guys, tell me what you think. Do you think this was Natalie's plan? If not, what do you think her game is? And there's certainly more to her than meets the eye. She now knows, because Mike said no visa, no nothing, no baby, suddenly her plan's gone up in smoke, and I think that's why she's so angry. But answers down below. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to like my video. Remember, if you like it and give it a thumbs up, it helps me with my YouTube stats. I will do a special tomorrow or Friday on Emily and Sasha, and then I'm all caught back up again, so stay tuned for that. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.